I ain't worried about nothing. I ain't worried about nothing. I ain't worried about nothing. I ain't worried about nothing.
I don't want you to think for one moment that Jesus became great on Palm Sunday. He was great when nobody was checking on him. He was great when he was lying in a manger. He was great when he was getting his license for carpentry. He was great when John had more disciples than him. I need somebody in the room to understand that you don't need a crown to be a king. God, I can't hear nobody. It wasn't a wedding that made you a wife. You were great even before other people saw your greatness. You've been having to fight your whole life just to prove yourself. But they knew it was something special about you in the 4th grade. They knew in the 6th grade that you wasn't like everybody else. Your whole family trying to figure out where you came from, because you don't even match who it is that they are. Elbow your neighbor, tell him, I don't mean to sound arrogant, but I've been great. When I was broke, I was great. When I didn't have a man, I was great. When I was gaining weight, I was great. Before I had a degree, I was great. When I had to catch a ride, I was great. When I was doing my own hair, I was great. Don't you think in the aftermath that this is what made me great?
It makes you wonder how God could bring the blessing out of a mess, how God could bring a blessing out of a curse, how God could bring a blessing out of a plague, how God could move in the middle of COVID-19. See, some people, all they see is the problem, but they don't see the opportunity. All David was trying to do was stop the sword of the angel. And the Bible said that he bought the threshing floor of Ornan, and he burned up the threshing floor of Ornan, and he offered up sacrifice unto God. And it occurred to me when I was reading about Solomon's temple, and they were talking about how elaborately it was made and how flamboyantly it was decorated. And they were talking about the opulence and the decor. And they were talking about the worship and the protocol and the service and the excellence of their men. I wondered, did they not see that it was all built on ashes? And when I thought about that, I thought about life itself. That people are always talking about your glory. But they don't know nothing about your story. They're always weighing out what you got, but they don't know what it costs you. They're always talking about what you accomplished, but they don't know what you went through. And it made me want to preach this message. They don't see the ashes. They don't see the ashes. They run their mouths, but they don't see the ashes. They turn up their nose, but they don't see the ashes. They're jealous and envious, but they don't see the ashes. You don't know the cost of the oil in my alabaster box. Everything that Solomon built was built on the ashes that David burned. Out of the ashes and the despair of his father's failures came his son's glory. I want to talk to every son who had a failed father. Out of the ashes of a failed father came the glory of the next generation. Stop despising your father's ashes, because everything you're going to build is going to be built on the ashes your father left behind you. Solomon only owned the land because David paid full price for it. And David was wrestling with his own sins. And yet his sins and the place he wrestled became the place where Solomon erected the first temple. How much of your success is built on your ashes?